Hey guys, it is a Tuesday, September the 24th? 6th? What date is it today?
I think it's the 20th. I don't actually know.
Anyways, it's September. It's the end of September. It's Tuesday, 26th. 26 it is, guys. Thank you for joining in and tuning in to watch our show. It's PRsonalities live on Facebook. Guys, today we have a very special guest, Eliza Hilario. And we're going to be talking about all things real estate, all things entrepreneurship, marketing, and many, many more. As you may have seen in our slideshow a little bit earlier, Eliza won quite a few awards in the last couple of years in real estate. And what I'm going to do is I am going to stick to my script, and I'm going to ask Eliza to do a quick introduction of a little bit about you, a little bit about yourself, how you got into the industry, and what got you started.
Sure. So I think, as most realtors would say, real estate isn't their first choice of profession.
Okay.
I actually got into the industry because since I was very, very young, I actually wanted to go into medicine.
Okay.
And when I was in university, I worked at a hospital. And throughout my 4-year term, I was working there, and I realized this wasn't the environment I could see myself in the next, I don't know, lifetime or so.
Fair enough.
So definitely didn't want to pursue the medical path. And I took a step back, and I thought to myself, like, what was it I liked so much about being a doctor? And I think the points that came to my mind were the job flexibility, being able to control my income, and being able to help people. And so I did more research, and I stumbled upon real estate, and I felt that those three things I was able to still do, but not through like a medical way, but through real estate. So
Okay.
definitely like...
So the three things that kind of led you into real estate,
Yes.
I'll just reiterate once again what they are. So number one, I think you said it was the flexibility, the ability to work on your own time. Number two was
Controlling my income.
controlling the income. That's a big one. I mean, I think all entrepreneurs in a room can relate to that one. And the number three?
Number three was being able to help people.
Being able to help people.
Yeah. Because I always dreamed of like owning my own clinic.
Oh
But
wow!
being
So you
able
had, you
to-
had big dreams for medical. And what kind of medical are you even
Simply
looking at?
family medicine.
Just family practice, like
Yes.
family physician. All right.
And so I wanted to be able to open my clinic, but be able to take appointments when I wanted to. And it's kind of like the same thing with real estate. I'm able to still take those appointments when I want to, and I don't have a clinic, but I'm able to work for myself.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And plus, you get to still help people.
Yes,
It may not-
definitely.
I think you have to be almost a family physician at sometimes dealing with clients and talking to people, because again, it's psychological things and
Yeah.
trying to make them feel comfortable and make them feel that they're working at their pace, right? I can relate again. I'm also in real estate.
Yes.
As we both are in a very, very adjacent fields, dealing with clients. Working on your own schedule. As much as it sounds like you're working on your own schedule, ultimately I think we both found out the hard way.
Yeah.
There was a lot more work.
We'll get
and
the odd call every now and then.
the odd call. And
But it's still so worth it.
yeah. And I guess the thing is that the industry is changing so rapidly also, right? So 5-10 years ago, when you were a realtor, you had to go to every single sale, sit there until 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. Once everything was wrapped up and signed, and call it a day. Now you have the pleasure of having DocuSign to sign documents,
Yes.
right? And you can do a lot of things online, which is ultimately, I think, is a positive thing.
Yeah, definitely. Technology has definitely changed the industry with how we service people.
Do you find that you use a lot of? Do you still have to stay late for those listings where they're
Not
selling
so
really,
much.
really late?
Usually everyone's already on the computer before I even get to meet them face to face, and they already have an idea of what the homes look like, and buyers, I think now they do more of their own research, so it's less time actually showing the property. And when it comes down to like writing the offer, everything can be done electronically.
Very nice.
Yes.
That is definitely for the best of our industry. It keeps us a little bit less busy and a little bit more available for the clients coming in next, right? Okay, so actually, going back to just a step a little bit. So we're talking about yourself, how you got into the industry, and so some of the accomplishments. Let's just make it rain for a few seconds here, and let's tell the audience. So as you guys have been watching the first little bit of slideshow, so you already won what? How many awards?
4 awards. So 2 in 2015. I won Rookie of the Year. So I made the top gross commission income in 2015 for all the new entries into our company. And amazing. I won the Silver Sales Award in 2015. And
that's 2 in 1 year.
Yes, 2 in 1 year. And in 2016, I had won the Silver Sales Award again with my company. And with Royal LePage Canada, I won the Master Sales Award, which means that I was in the top, I think, 19th to 11th percentile in Royal LePage Canada.
Whole Canada.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Eliza, how many years have you been in the industry?
2.5.
Wow.
Yes.
So that is quite impressive. And so something else I wanted to maybe also touch on. So you are actually our first female entrepreneur in a room on the show. So what I wanted, and this is also something that I guess I felt would be a positive thing as well for all of our audience to learn about. So, you know, becoming your own boss, getting into the industry where you're essentially working for yourself, you're working at your own hours, you're working at your own pace, getting out there, you know, are there any tips you would also be able to maybe to share with some of our female audience for things that, you know, really helped you to advance?
I guess for females in entrepreneurship, I think that entrepreneurship should always be viewed as entrepreneurship, not so much as something gender-based or like nationality-based, but if you're definitely working in a male-dominant industry, just other women are out there rooting for you. So you're not alone, and just if you have a passion for what you're doing, it's definitely going to show. And that's something that's so important because, you know, with entrepreneurship, I think the passion has to be there in order for the money to follow.
Fair enough. I mean, you have to be interested in what you're doing more so than you should be interested in the money that it comes and generates for you. So you talked about passion, right? So if you're passionate, I think that's applicable to everybody. If you're a male or female, I don't care who you are, but if you're passionate about something and you generally care about it and you want to learn more and you want to advance in that field and you really put all you got to it and with support of people around you, anything is possible.
Really, anything is possible. Like to date, I think I've already done 25 plus deals. And I took like a month off.
That is the part that makes me happy to hear, because taking months off is tough. When you're busy, taking months off is tough. And you know what? But you have to once in a while. Once again, I think you had your honeymoon or something.
I just recently got married.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
Congratulations. So you guys went for honeymoon. That was the month vacation or no?
No, it was just the wedding. We're going on honeymoon in December.
Right on. Well. Wishing you a good trip. Where are you guys going?
Hong Kong and the Philippines.
That sounds just like the trip you should be having for your honeymoon. Now, I'm going to go back to our Bible here. I have a few questions that we need to cover.
Sure.
So we spoke about entrepreneurship. We spoke about how you got into the industry. Now, you told me a little bit earlier about your very first investment property. And how you got into, I think originally the whole real estate game started with that for you. Yeah,
so the original story was that I wanted to go into med school, so my mom had decided to buy an investment property. So in October 2013, we bought a property together, and we estimated by the time I would graduate, I would have enough money for tuition. And I guess by the time it was ready, I also had graduated, and I realized I didn't want to be in the medical industry. I just wanted to pursue real estate. And I had looked back at our initial investments, and I had seen how much it had grown, and I was like, wow, you can make a lot of money in real estate.
That's right. And
So-
that was between 2014
2013.
and 2013.
Yes.
So that's as the market was getting hot.
Yes.
It got really hot during those 2-3 years. So I mean, that is inspiring.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
So, and I think that was something I wanted to share with my friends and my family. Like, if we could do it, then it's not that hard for them to do it.
To get into the investment
Yes.
property business? So investment property is how you started, and is that something that you're a big advocate for?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, and so you would say that, so I guess my thought is always, if you're looking, any property, real estate historically has been a great way of accumulating money and also doubling it or tripling it in certain cases over time. So from some of the things that you've seen in the last 2 years, right? So you had an opportunity to help your friends, your family, your customers attain some properties.
Yes.
And so, are you getting good feedback from a lot of these properties? Getting good feedback from these clients, friends, your family, your friends. Like, how is that going? Is that also generating more business for you as well?
Of course, yes. So I always give the example of my first real estate investment. So, if you want me to break it down into numbers,
I think let's get cracking with the numbers. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is an example of how an investment property can play out really well.
Okay, so in 2013, I bought a pre-construction townhouse for $282,000.
Okay.
And this is on the west side of Brampton. So, and actually I sold it this year in February 2017.
That's how many years between there?
So 2013, 4 years.
4 years, okay.
And I had sold it for $545,000. So, and I think...
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's very good, actually.
But it had actually closed the year before that. So I was only paying mortgage of about $1,200, but I was charging rent of $1,500.
Oh, because that was an investment property,
Yes.
right? So it was cash flowing quite well.
Yeah, so it was cash flowing quite well. And then once my tenant had moved out, I was like, I think I want to cash out of this property and reinvest it into 2 other properties, which is something that we did.
That's actually very impressive. So, that was a very bold move on your part back in 2013. And
Yes.
It definitely has paid off. And so that strategy, right? So where you buy that investment property and you rent it out, did you find that this is a strategy? I guess this is the strategy that you're a big advocate for, right? So this is a strategy that you're also suggesting for a lot of your clients as well. Is that
Pretty much, it's essentially what it is. It's, but I guess now it's a little different because you can't buy townhouses for $282 anymore.
A little bit out of price range, yeah, that's for sure.
But what I do offer to my clients are like pre-construction condos that are just being released. So usually they're called platinum sales or VIP sales. So this is before, it's like the very first release to only a select number of agents, and at the lowest price point you can get in.
So the very first initial stage of, I guess, raising capital for the condo?
Yes, because once they release it to the public, it can go up anywhere from, I've seen 25,000 to 70,000.
Right.
Yes.
And then so this part actually I understand quite well. So the raising capital is something that I do, right? So and so what did you find that there's a specific set of developers that you guys work with, you personally like more than the rest? Because I'm going to guess that is something that's very important, right? For the industry, essentially your inventory. So how do you go about that? Is it typically more client driven, or you're more thinking, or you have more like a set of developers you are working with that you like, and you like the quality of the product? What is that about?
I think it's more of the developers.
More the developers?
Or more so the projects. I'm very selective with which type of projects I like to pick. Because I need the ones that are obviously going to make my clients happy with cash flow and
of course.
the opportunity for a lot of growth. So I just pick the ones that show the right numbers, and I present those forward to my
and I guess you probably also have to do a little bit more research about the area and what the potential for the area is, and et cetera, et cetera. And so do you find that even in the market that we're today, which is ridiculous, I mean, if you look around, even though we took have a bit of a slowdown here in the summer, are you still able to cash flow a lot of these purchases for the investment properties? Is it still working out in a similar fashion as your original investment?
Only some projects give that cash flow. That's why it's so important to take the time out to do the investment analysis, to do the market rents, to do like what the properties are currently selling for, and comparing it to the prices of that specific development.
Right, and so that's a service that you essentially just kind of offer to any new potential clients, right?
Yes.
Where you get the chance to sit down, interview them through, make a plan as per your expertise as to what you're able to achieve, and then that is ultimately kind of the workflow.
Yes.
Right?
Can we take some audience questions?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Coming in. So from Michael Awad, I think he's talking about the rental cash flow situation that we talked about. He says, this no longer works in today's market. How can you create positive cash flow on a rental?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Michael
Awad.
Michael Awad. Thank you, sir. And Eliza, being the specialist, I'm going to let you break it down.
Well, it really is trying to find the right property at the right price. Obviously, you're not going to make cash flow with every single property. It's almost impossible to do that. But so the original purchase price that you're going in at, you have to make sure you've got enough down payment, you've got enough equity in the property, and that you're leveraging enough money so that you make that type of cash flow. Obviously, with a higher down payment, you're going to be paying less mortgage, right? So it all depends on different factors if you're going to make the positive cash flow or not.
So it's all about the positive cash flow, ultimately. Sorry about technical difficulties. We are back live and online. We just actually answered the question to one of the people in the audience. It was Michael Awad asking us about how can an investment in property, how can it cash flow in today's market? And I think Eliza did a great job, essentially stressing out that cash flow is king. Right? It's the combination of your down payment and your total mortgage to be able to work those numbers out to make it more or less of a wash. And I guess ultimately that's what you're looking for.
Yes.
And would you recommend also going a little bit outside of Toronto for those? Or
yeah, definitely. It's
that?
much easier to get cash flow outside of Toronto just because the prices in Toronto have gone up so much, especially for condos.
Yeah.
So when you go outside into the suburbs, it's much more easier to get the cash flow that is more desirable.
Beautiful.
Guys, if it's possible, can we ask another audience question?
Go ahead.
Alrighty, the next question is from Roman Dombrovsky. What's your process for researching areas of interest?
I think that's a great question.
Yeah, so on the back end for realtors, we have the MLS system. So when researching areas of interest, we just type in all the criteria and just kind of pops up.
Well, that was an easy one.
Yes.
Do you do any additional auxiliary searches for maybe developments, school developments, different roads, highways? Like I'm going to guess that's a very big factor in it.
Oh yeah, sometimes I'll go so far as looking into the official plan for the city to see what the future developments are.
Oh, that I think is where the gold is, right?
Yes,
because
really.
You can really plan a little bit ahead, and if you're buying in a development that I guess is still very new in the area, that's very, very, I guess shall we say, bare, right? And you know what the timeline is. If you're prepared to exit at the end of that timeline, it could be quite worth your while.
Yeah. And also online we have some like real estate forums where we're able to access exclusive real estate listings. So
I guess that's the reason to work with an agent.
Yes.
So all right. So that's actually, these are all really good questions and answers. So I'm going to recommend that if any of you guys are still interested in learning more about those investment properties and how to cash flow them out, we have all of Eliza's information present on screen at the bottom of the screen right now. You can reach out to her directly. You use Facebook to...
Yes.
Yeah, so you can actually get in touch with her through Facebook right there. And then you get a chance to pick at her brain a little bit more and see if she can help you with your investment purchase. Moving on with our curriculum here. So we spoke about some of the things about your investment property and how you got into that. We spoke about controlling income, job flexibility, entrepreneurship. So actually this was one of the things that I was going to ask you a little bit more about is some of the skills that you feel that as a realtor in 2017 you have to kind of master, right? So I'm going to guess, given that we spent so much time on this investment arrangement, I'm going to guess that's majority of your business?
That's pretty much the majority of my business. Yeah.
So you're not much of a family realtor that...
I still do some family realtor stuff every now and then. Like,
Yeah.
I'm currently working on one right now.
Okay.
But it's completely different from being an investment realtor. Yes.
Right on. Fair enough. Well, actually, that really exhausts that question, because I was not sure whether, maybe you were specializing in something or it was more of a broad...
Like, primarily I do investment, but every now and then, like, someone will come to me and say, hey, I want to sell my house, or I want to buy a house. But
it's a service that you can provide,
obviously,
right?
Of course.
So. Hey, guys. Once again, our apologies. We had one other interruption here, having a few problems with connection. We're going to go back to where we left off, and we started talking a little bit more about obtaining more clients, and some of the techniques Eliza found were useful for her. So again, you have your specialty, which you're good at. So now, I guess world is your oyster. How do you get down to business development? How do you get down to getting those people in your database, working the database? Do you use the database? Like, how do you work that part of it?
So actually, up until last week, 100% of my business was all repeat and referral business, except for the one I did last week.
All right. That's a very, very impressive referral percentage.
Yeah. So like 1 out of 20 plus was just an online lead I happened to get. But everything else has just been repeat and referral business for this year. So
I guess the referral business. So I guess let's expand on that a little bit. Sure. I think people are going to find this. We're in an era where there is just so much out there as to what you can do and how you can get those clients. So I'm going to guess that the referral business probably is very solid in terms of conversion, because I know from my own experience as well. When people give me referrals, it's sold.
Yeah.
Right? So just put a signature there, it's done. You don't have to fight for that business as much, because again, people already introduced to you, they feel more comfortable, they come from somebody else, they already know.
Yeah.
Right. So do you find that's a big positive?
Yes, it's a huge positive, because getting something like a word of mouth referral is so much more valuable than getting a lead from online,
a cold lead,
or
right?
Yes, a cold lead, because it's already been warmed up by your previous client.
The
right?
difference is warm and cold. So so those people that you do get as a referral, though, I'm going to guess they're the ones who are referring you the next piece of business.
Yes, exactly.
So how do you harvest those relationships? How do you get them to convert?
I think in today's day and age, like, everyone's so obsessed with social media and they're always on their phones. I actually like to personally reach out to them.
Okay.
Yeah, so on like special
dates. Old school?
Yeah, super old school. So on special dates such as their birthday, I'll give them a call or send them a text. Or I like to do the 1-year anniversary kind of thing, where I follow up and I say, hey, it's been about a year since your investment with me, and I just want to give you a market update as to how much your property has gone up and what the rental rates are, just to give them like an idea of how much their investment has grown. And usually they're very happy with that type of outcome, and I ask them if they know anyone who's interested in doing something that we've done together. And
you're asking for a referral.
Yes, that's how you get business. And like, because they've trusted me and recognized all the hard work I've done for them, they're mostly happy to share it with someone else. So
these are people who have gone through the process of obtaining a property. They've loved the experience of dealing with you.
Yes.
And I guess the main part is retention.
Yes.
Retention.
Yeah.
And as we all know, it takes about 10 times as much to get a new client as it is to retain an existing one. And so on average, you'd say, out of one sale that you make, what's the window of opportunity there? How many can you get in referrals? What's the most you ever got from one source?
Oh my gosh. I think I have like a really big referral maker. I think 10 plus from one person.
That is a relationship very well harvested. I gotta admit, that's amazing. And so for that person, I'm gonna guess all the birth dates and all the special times in the year were well celebrated.
Oh yes, definitely. we've gone out to many dinners.
Well, again, you got to thank your referral partners. You got to thank people that you work with. And again, there's nothing wrong with referring business. And in fact, I fully support that. If you find there is a professional that you really like, that you really enjoy working with, I mean, the least you can do is give them not so much of a referral, but more of an introduction, maybe, to an opportunity to get some business.
Yes, definitely.
Very nice. Very, very nice. What I also was going to ask you here, so once you've connected the business together with these referral partners that you have, my apologies, I got a little bit sidetracked here. You know what, I already answered that question too. So moving on. So from the people the relationships and the contacts that you built, you said most of your referrals come from most of the business comes from referrals. But that business coming in, do you track it?
What do you mean, like
database, CRM? Do you use anything?
Oh yeah, I use a CRM.
Yeah. Okay.
So where I input everyone's profile and all the important dates, and
Did you just start using that from the very beginning, or you just kind of got into it a little bit later?
No, I started from the very beginning. It was something that was instilled in our company, Royal LePage, to equity. So actually they have a really good training process. So they don't kind of just like throw you out into the field.
Training is key.
Yeah, so I had a lot of training with them, and I guess developing a CRM was very important, and it's something I still use up to this day, where like it's something I started with and I'm still continuing to use because it's still very much effective.
And the CRM that Royal LePage uses is?
It's called, we just switched over, so I don't have the name, but. So
it's some sort of a CRM that was developed, I guess, for Royal LePage?
Exactly,
more or less?
Yes. But we switched over to another company, which I cannot remember the name.
That's okay. I mean, ultimately, I guess this show is more about how some of the better practices in business and how people can optimize their business to do better as time goes on. So I'm actually a big supporter of CRMs as well. I think they're wonderful. I, in fact, use myself one of them as well. We have one that we use for our recce business, for our brokerage as well, just to kind of keep all the accounts in line. You have all your milestones, right? You have all the information for different birthdays, so you can send out those birthday cards. All the different, anniversaries of their mortgages, anniversaries of their purchases. These are all opportunities for you to go back to that client and maybe ask for another referral, right? Yeah. I mean, any conversation is a good conversation. It's keeping in touch and retention. And I think CRM is great at helping you in retaining those clients. Is that integrated with your emails as well and all that? Or?
Yes.
So I'm going to guess the
what I like to do is like 2 months before the renewal for mortgage.
There you go.
I send the agreement of purchase and sale.
Beautiful. Well, that is a very good practice, ladies and gentlemen. I fully support that. CRMs in today's days and age and key. I can't even imagine managing a database of clientele just with a drawer full of files.
Yes.
I don't know how people did it 20 years ago. I completely beyond me. I don't know how many account records we had just in the last year, but it's quite humongous. And keeping track of all the names and phone numbers, I can't physically imagine.
No.
You must agree, though.
Yeah, I definitely do agree.
Quite big support.
Because not everyone's active on your CRM, but you know so much people, and you need something to organize all of that.
Yeah. It's organization tools, right? Organization is key. It doesn't make you money, but it keeps you very, very much in touch with your clients, with your database, with your business.
Yeah, it helps me sort out who's hot, warm, and cold, and who's ready to purchase.
That's right, and that ultimately I think is a technique that's great for not just real estate or mortgages, or it's essentially account management, right? So account management is key for any business, whether you're in motion graphics design or you're in headhunting, as we had some of our previous guests here. It's really just about being a good business person, understanding how to extract the most out of what you have on your table, and that is going to make you your fortune, is going to make your business grow as the time goes on. Okay, let's just, I guess, move on with our conversation here. I have a few more things I wanted to address. We started talking about marketing. We started talking about ways of attracting potential leads in the future, besides referrals? There might be some, so you've mentioned that you've had a lead that came in, got a cold lead that you recently done.
Yeah.
So what kind of techniques do you use? Do you use any social media advertising, like you said, Instagram, Facebook? What are some of the sources that you found good for your industry and are very 2017 right now?
I think one of the biggest things is that you have to have an online presence. So definitely on all sorts of social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Everyone is online before they meet you, and everyone is going to background check you, right?
For sure.
So you have to Google your name to make sure you actually pop up, and that's very important in today's industry.
So you would say, so for real estate, for yourself, what did you find was the kind of your sweet spot? Did you find Facebook or Instagram more useful, or where do you keep in touch with your favorite clients?
I think Facebook is probably the best platform for me, at least. I'm on Instagram, but more so for just like a little professionalized, and more so like to tell people I'm actually human and not working all the time.
Yeah, of course. You're creating content. You're creating information about what it's like to be in Eliza Hilario's shoes day in and day out. So the Facebook account that you have, do you happen to post a lot? What do you typically find is good content?
Audience question. If you don't mind me
sure.
How hard is it? This is from Jonathan Donahue, a longtime viewer of the show. How hard is it to get into an income property as the investor?
Into an income property as an investor. So I think he's asking essentially how to start generating income out of an investment property.
How to start generating income?
How to get to generating income,
I think like the biggest key, like we kind of touched base on this a little earlier, was that having a good down payment is key to being able to make the income. So
I guess down payment is what's going to determine how profitable your investment properties. I guess, well, you know what, this is a tough one to swallow, I guess, for a lot of the first-time home buyers and just starting investors in the city of Toronto and GTA it's very tough to come up with enough down payment to make it profitable. And again, I can speak again for out of my experience as well. Conducting mortgage transactions and actually seeing the spread between what your cost of having a property and your potential income from the rents that you can get in Toronto is tough. I think we can definitely agree on that. But like Eliza said earlier, right? So you said that...
I think it all comes down to what you're paying for the mortgage and definitely taking into account like all the other expenses that you just talked about. So
and
like
so
your
those
property
expenses,
taxes, maintenance fees.
Property taxes?
Yeah, maintenance fees or utilities. Like heating costs, insurance. Yeah, it's just really breaking down the numbers and seeing if you're able to qualify for that.
And that's also part of what you calculate when you help them to present that solution, right? So whenever you initially get to meet Eliza, you get a chance to create a custom plan that tells you a little bit more about what's possible and what may not be possible.
Yeah.
And then, I guess...
And also the startup fees, like the legal costs and land transfer tax.
Yeah.
And...
those are big.
Yeah.
Huge, especially in Toronto. And I guess there's also the option of going a little bit outside of the city that can make your cash flow look a little better.
I had one client last year who went out to Hamilton, and we purchased a townhouse property for her. So she pays around $1,100 in mortgage, but we charged $1,850 for the monthly rental.
That must cash flow then.
Yes,
right?
At least $300.
Okay, all right. Well, that's pretty close.
Yeah.
So, Jonathan, I hope that was some good info on that. And again, if any of you guys want to learn a little bit more, I think Eliza is open for more business. Are you?
Yes, definitely.
Good. So she's open for more business. Please make sure that you guys do follow her Facebook as well. And you guys can ask more questions if anybody wishes.
No joke, we've had people saying, make sure she gets in contact with me after the show.
Oh, amazing.
All right.
So you may get a...
Beautiful. So we started talking a little bit. I was just about to ask a little more questions about social. I think we kind of exhausted that more or less. I think Eliza made it very clear that Facebook is paramount for current real estate marketing. also, I'm going to guess there's technology that you use for your own showings. There's, I guess, opportunity to post those listings, right? Mm-hmm. So do you do a lot of those virtual tours type of things?
Yeah, definitely. Virtual tours and professional photography. Like I said before, most of the buyers are online before they come to see a property or come to meet with you. So definitely getting the professional photography is going to bring more clients into the property and make the house more marketable versus just simply taking photos on your iPhone.
Of course. Professionalism.
Yes.
Professionalism and presentation.
Definitely with presentation, staging is also a huge thing because it's able to modernize the home, and with vacant homes, it's easier for potential buyers to visualize the space and if they can picture themselves really living in there. So one thing I like to offer to my clients for when they sell their home is like a complimentary staging consultant.
That's a nice point.
Yeah.
I think that's a great one, actually. I mean, staging sells homes.
Yeah,
from what I hear.
staging is huge. Staging can be expensive. Say you spend $3,000 on staging, but it comes back to you. You're going to make over $3,000.
Cost of doing business, right? Mm-hmm. It is what it is. To make more money, we have to spend a little bit more money often. And I guess this is the part that often is very hard to do. Communicate to your clients, but if you can, it sounds like you definitely can. It could make you a trifold of what you're spending, if not more than that. Going back to our list of questions, so we spoke about some of the additional value, the value that you bring to your clients, on top of providing them with an excellent service of looking for listings and helping them list their properties. You know, you've talked about the virtual tours. You've talked about the staging, which is also a big part to your proposition value. You've spoken about the free consultation of being able to cater out that perfect investment solution, right? So what are some of the other proposition values that you can really kind of bring up and say, you know what, this is why you use me?
I guess I think this is also a reason why I chosen my brokerage. Like when you choose me, you're not only using me, you're getting the help of everyone that's part of my team.
Of course.
So we've got 400 plus agents working with us, and if I'm not able to find a solution for you, I'm sure someone else in my office will be able to help me to help you.
Beautiful.
Really, that's like one of the biggest things.
So being part of a solid team is also key to success.
Yes, definitely.
We've got another viewer question.
Keep them rolling. What's going on?
This one is again from Jonathan. He is wondering, how do you, what are ways that you recommend, how do you save money on a purchase? Very, very straightforward, meat and potatoes real estate question.
All right. Well, Eliza, ladies and gentlemen, how to save money on a purchase from Eliza Hilario.
Really, negotiation is key. So you have to hire the right agent that's going to be able to negotiate for you. That's all it is.
In a nutshell. that was good. I mean, obviously, in any transaction, having the right people by you conducting that transaction will yield you the greatest return.
Yeah. So I think someone who definitely has experience, like you're not going to just get any type of real estate agent, right? Like you're not going to get someone who only does one deal a year to represent you in your transaction and say, I want a deal. Like, how many deals have you negotiated in the past for me to be able to get a deal? And
also specialty, right?
Yes.
I mean, do you do commercial?
I don't do so much commercial,
so
mostly residential.
Right? So specialty, right? So your investment properties, first-time home buyers, I'm guessing, is another one?
Yeah.
Right. So again, specialty is key, right? So in any industry, right? So whether you sell apple fritters or you do real estate or you do mortgages, specialty is everything. I mean, if people know that you're really good at that, then the next time that comes up, you are the person. You are the key person for that to work out. Okay. So we spoke a little bit about technology. Actually, one thing I had on my list, and I didn't bring that up until now, but VR. Let's talk a little bit futuristic here. So I am a big supporter of AR. So AR stands for augmented reality, VR stands for virtual reality. I think the future is augmented reality. I mean, we've seen that filters that people use on Snapchat and other platforms are great. People love them. People like augment what's around us. So VR, AR, future uses, current uses, you're taking it. Go.
I really like VR. Like it gives everyone an opportunity to kind of like walk through the house without actually having to go to the house. So it's really good for people who are relocating and live on like the other side of the country and want to see a house but aren't able to see it because they're so far away. But it's like a little dollhouse, and you're able to walk through and spin the house around and see it from different angles. So it just saves the time of.
And that's VR. And so do you guys currently offer VR?
Yes, we do offer VR.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
So but I'm going to guess that's only certain listings that have used VR technology for the listing itself, right?
Exactly. It's like a very selective few listings that we use VR for, mostly for the high-end
For the high-end properties?
Yeah.
And that's a service that's also something that you can provide,
Yes,
right?
definitely, yeah.
Is that a proposition value as well?
Yes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the winner. The future is here. What is your take on AR? Have you heard anything about it?
I'm not sure if this would be an example of AR, but I know some people are able to, for vacant homes, put in furniture into the photos.
I think that the implication of what AR can do for the real estate industry is just incredible. Because anything visual that's already there, AR allows you to customize the home based on who views it.
Yep.
So if you have a home that's being viewed by a 50-year-old couple, you're not going to put, 60-inch screen TVs left and right, and then start putting up pictures of, I don't know, Drake for all I care. Right? You're going to probably look for more of a theme that goes with that person. And then, obviously, a younger buyer would probably also benefit from having some sort of an atmosphere they can really relate to. And as history shows, relatability of the product to the customer is everything.
Yes.
So I think you guys just watch the next 5 years. As AR becomes more affordable, we're going to see a lot of use of that in real estate.
Yes.
And I think it's going to be huge.
I think another thing that a lot of sellers really like is the drone going up.
the pictures of the neighborhood from above?
Yes, because they like to see their house.
That's awesome. And I actually also like it. It's not even just the house itself, but just the neighborhood, right? You can see where are you in the area from bird
and
view.
It's definitely like a different angle. Like it's something you don't get to see
any other way.
Yeah.
Essentially. And so that's also part of the proposition value. Guys, I don't know what to say. This woman is very 2017. You got to try her. VR, AR, social media, referrals, websites. You also have a website. I saw that, right? That's Hilario Homes?
Yes, that's Hilario Homes.
That's where you probably have some of the listings from before that you've had and property that you've helped people with and some of the success stories as well, probably? A little bit?
Not really
so much?
Success stories. Most of that's on Facebook.
Most of it on Facebook. So guys, success stories?
My website it's mostly for featured listings I have and what's on the market. So it's an alternative to like realtor.ca.
Beautiful. Well, having a website is everything. I mean, having your own personalized website really, really helps you to stand out and give it your personal touch, right? So something else, right? So, I mean, I was going to ask you a little bit more about how you keep in touch with the industry, but it sounds like you are quite well in touch with the industry. Do you use some sort of, would you say that there's magazines that are good to read for, especially newer realtors who are getting into the industry? I mean, maybe there's magazines, there's websites, there's things that are good to follow. What are some of the things that you would recommend?
For me, I attend like the quarterly office meetings. Those are really helpful because everything is just condensed into one. And I find that if you're really active, that over time you get to learn the trends. You can see like if the prices are going up or down, see how much a rental is worth. Like sometimes you get so used to like looking at the properties on the MLS system that you can kind of just pull up a number and say, this is what the houses are worth in that area, just because you've worked so much in the area.
So you would say that quarterly reports and reading the data?
Yes. Also, TREB releases the Market Watch quarterly.
Yeah.
So it's something that's good to review.
So somebody who is starting out in the industry, fresh new, just out of the course. Make sure you understand the market. Make sure you read the quarterly reports, the annual reports. Make sure you understand where the trends are.
Yeah.
Go to your monthly meetings at the brokerage. That's key, obviously, right? So keeping in touch, making sure that you're getting the additional knowledge.
Yeah, and the quarterly office meetings, they don't necessarily always have to be just about the meetings. Like you get to interact with the other agents as well and see what's new with them and what they're using to sell their properties. So new ideas all over the office.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. I honestly think that having a little bit of transparency in the industry and having more of your team to communicate with and be able to just kind of bounce some of the ideas and thoughts about what's going on just kind of allows it to clear the air.
Yes.
Especially in the confusing times of real estate that we've seen this past summer. Right? So
yeah, definitely. It's been a confusing
we got
summer.
to witness it, right? And so it was very hard to make sense of what was going on. And I think that having a big team and having a good backbone to your business, being able to go and reach out to your broker record, being able to talk to somebody who's been around for 20, 30 years, knowing the business very, very well, is very, very valuable to any starting entrepreneur, especially.
Definitely.
Eliza, I am going to go straight to our conclusion. As typically we always do in our interviews, we like to give a few tips to starting entrepreneurs, especially those looking in the real estate direction, in the real estate industry. Would you have maybe 2 or 3 things that you would kind of want to highlight and say, these are the things that you should do, these are the things I highly recommend that really helped me, try them?
Okay, so if you're specifically looking to go into the real estate industry, I think it's definitely good to interview a lot of brokerages and see which one is going to be able to offer you the best type of training. Because when you go to school, they just teach you the rules and the law.
Regulations.
Yes, all the rules and regulations about real estate, but no one really teaches you how to sell. And I think the most valuable thing you could take away from your brokerage is someone's going to train you and help you survive in the industry, and not so much like who's going to give you the best type of cuts.
Right. Yeah. It's all about the team, right? So there's obviously. So you said there's there's the team.
Yes.
So number 1, join the right brokerage. Interview your brokerage as much as they're interviewing you.
Yes.
Don't forget that. That's actually a throwback to our first video. We had our headhunter here talking about the same idea as well. So interview your brokerage. Make sure you want to work with the people that you're looking to work with.
Yes, because it makes all the difference in the type of atmosphere you're going to be working in. Because, like I said, the brokerage I work with, there's a lot of training. So everyone is always out there to help you. Like, it's a huge family. Like, if you have a question, you've got like 4 people running to answer it for you.
And just remind me, that would be Royal LePage.
Equity Realty.
Royal LePage Equity Realty.
Yes.
So that is one. Any other things?
Just for entrepreneurship, I think the most important thing is just to really have passion for what you're doing and to really love what you're doing, because money comes secondary. Like if you have passion for it, it's going to show. People are going to trust you. People are going to want to work with you, and that really outshines, and it's very commendable.
It's not how much you make, it's how you make it.
Yes, exactly.
Right? So I think that those are really good tips, guys. Again, this was Eliza Hilario at our PRsonalities episode 3. Guys, thank you so much for watching.
And thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. Eliza, you gave, I think, quite a bit of feedback on the real estate industry and how to get into it and some of the tips and pros and cons, so to speak. Eliza's handle is right at the bottom of our page right here, I believe. So please do make sure to follow, like, and share, and subscribe. We have Eliza's Instagram, right?
Yes.
Facebook. Anything else?
I think my website.
The website as well. So we're going to have all that available in our right below the video, perhaps in the description or the comments.
We're going to have the full video because of all the technical difficulties.
Yeah.
That's going to be posted tomorrow, and all her information is going to be in the description of the video.
Beautiful.
Just up top.
So guys, once again, thank you so much for watching. It means a lot. It really means a world to us that we have the audience here And so again, Eliza Hilario, all the handles are right here at the bottom of the page. Please make sure to follow, like, and share. Watch for that full video tomorrow. As Brennan pointed out, we'll be posting it with all description and information on how to reach her. And once again, this was Konstantin Polyakov, your host. Thank you for tuning in. Please make sure to follow, like, and share the Pocket Broker, and as well as PRsonalities, at PRsonalities on Facebook, at PRsonalities TV on Instagram, and PRsonalities the show on YouTube. Thanks, guys. Have a great evening. Bye. Thank you for watching. That was PRsonalities, and we hope to see you in 2 weeks when we get to shoot yet another episode of this show. Meanwhile, you should probably like, share, and follow all of our social media accounts. That would be Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, where we will be posting a slightly better version of this exact same episode. See you soon. Bye. What are you doing here? Who is producing the show?